Let's keep things moving here on the program. We're joined by a gentleman, as a matter of fact, and currently you see him playing the role of Terry Flenory in BMF, but you've seen him in other projects such as Grownish and All American. Also part of the Mary J. Blige Real Love series. You've got one name. You got to call him the one and only Da Vinci, joining us here on Radio Boss. What's going on, Da Vinci?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed, brother. I woke up today. I'm able to have a conversation with you. All my senses work. I'm blessed.
Man, it is a blessing. And I think we take that for granted,
Yes.
quite a bit. So I appreciate you saying that. Um, Terry Flenory, man, talk about this role, real life situation. You played the role of Terry Flenory. Just speak to playing that role and how you, as Da Vinci, has grown into playing Terry Flenory.
I mean, it's an honor, man, to tell a story, be a part of a story that's so influential in our culture and our history. So sometimes, it don't feel real, and you get to feel the impact when I go out into the world and see how much people have such a respect for these brothers. It's kind of like a surreal feeling, and playing this role for the past 4 years, it's been interesting for me. It's been great in the sense of one, it's very seldom that you get to play a character and then you explore so many different facets of the character. Every season, I'm able to dive deeper and deeper into the character. Usually, when you play a project, it's one movie, it's one show, or it's whatever, it's like a season or whatever. So where you don't see the character in a different light. Like, how would this character behave at dinner? How would this character behave doing this, doing that? But with Terry, I get to explore so many different pieces of his world because I'm living in him for so many years. So it's great. And as an actor, it builds this confidence, and it builds this like it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, and how much did you and you all, I guess, to a larger degree, believe that this was going to be a successful series, or the successful series that it has been from the jump?
I kind of had a feeling it was going to be successful, given the fact that one, it's so influential in the culture. Two, 50 was behind it. Three, it's like you're having the son in real life play the father. Like it was just set up in a way that one of the seasons had to be really successful. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. So we kind of like anticipated that.
Yeah, and doesn't it help, to your point about growing in the role, right? Doesn't it help that the renewals come like almost before the current showing of the current season, right? Like that's got to help too in terms of how you've grown in the role, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No
Can you
doubt.
hear me?
Also, yeah, I can hear you. I got you.
All right.
Yeah. All right. And so that helps. Okay. So with that, talk about working with Lil Meech. You the way your connectivity, your collaboration, because he is the son of the real life Big Meech.
Right. Yeah. No, we're working with me is great, and one of the coolest parts about it gets you closer to the source. Usually when you're telling a true story, the people that you're usually telling the story of, they're probably long gone. There's probably no one connected to the bloodline anymore. So having him there, it almost reminds you of the gravity and the weight of what you're playing. Like, this is real. Like, you're really acting with the bloodline of this empire. You know what I'm saying? So it makes you snap into reality. Like, no, this is for real. Like, it makes your emotions more real. It makes a lot of things more real because when I'm talking to him, I ask him questions. So how was it when da 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 da? And like, he's telling me the real of it. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So it forces you to have this authentic nature in playing a role.
And then last thought on BMF, because I mean we got some stuff to get to, and you've done a lot of other stuff that I really want to talk about. Talk with Clifton Powell last week, right? Just can you speak to this cast and being able to play with an experienced and diverse cast for BMF?
Oh man, the cast of BMF it's so dope. It's like a big university. And sometimes, oftentimes, I feel like I got a full ride scholarship to university, and I have like the greatest professors ever. I mean, you got Russell Hornsby, you had Tasha Smith, you have Steve Harris, you have Wood Harris, You have Kelly Hu. You have McCall White. Like it's like you have Clifton Pop. Like the people that come in that just drop gems when you're working on scenes. And a lot of times in acting, when they're turning the cameras around, we're just sitting in our cast chairs and we're having these conversations. And if you ask the right questions and you take heed to the answers, you get to learn a lot. So it's like a business convention center at the same time. It's a beautiful thing, man.
The one and only Da Vinci, he joins us here on Radio Boss. Of course, he's one of the stars of BMF, which airs each and every Friday on Stars. Let me switch gears a bit, because in looking through some of your Instagram posts, I guess maybe a couple of months ago, you were in Minnesota, right? And had a chance to spend a little bit of time, I guess, with Anthony Edwards. I mean, I guess you're a big sports fan. I'm assuming you're a big sports fan first and foremost.
Absolutely, yeah.
So and then are you a Minnesota fan? Because I saw you at a Vikings game too. Are you a Minnesota sports fan?
Minnesota has a special place in my heart for personal reasons, and also Anthony Edwards. I know his peoples, and they got a great spirit, and I'm a big believer in Anthony Edwards. I think we're looking at the next, potential Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and I'm more of a players person instead of a team. So when I meet a player and I feel that feeling with them, then it's like I become a fan by default.
Man, that's what's up. Any thoughts on OKC in Indiana, the game on Sunday night, game 7 of the NBA Finals?
It was I was mad. Like honestly, I didn't care about this finals at all. Indiana Pacers, I'm not the biggest fan of the Indiana Pacers. But OKC, I think Shea definitely deserved it. That team, they worked their ass off. And I personally think they have the perfect team. The team is really impressive. I'm not a fan of either team, but what Shea has around him is like it's perfect. But who knew how it would have came out if Tyrese didn't hurt himself? So it was up in the air, man. I feel like if Tyrese didn't hurt himself, it probably would have been at game 8. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, ain't no telling.
Right. Because I think a lot of people, and I always say, I really I genuinely believe that Indiana had whatever that means. But anyway, a 40% chance. In other words, most people were saying, oh, they may get swept, or it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, or it may go to 6 games. If you watched Indiana play this year, like you knew they were going to come to play, and this was going to be a battle, and it was.
Yeah, it was. They fought tooth and nail until the last second, and that was actually really impressive. It was a very entertaining finals though, and it was one of those finals that made you realize, like, how sometimes you see 2 teams playing, you're like, damn, this team was not supposed to make it, but it's like you could tell both teams were supposed to make it because you couldn't tell who was gonna win. I wasn't gonna bet on that game.
Yeah. So who's your team? Who is your team?
By default, I'm from New York, so I feel like I gotta represent New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets, and I was born in Brooklyn. But honestly, if I had to say right now, who's my team, I would have to go with Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
Because I rock with Anthony Edwards. I know Anthony personally, and I think he's a cool cat, and I'm rooting for him. Or it would probably be Atlanta Hawks, because I know Terrence Mann. I know Terrence Mann on a personal level. That's my man. He just transferred from Clippers to the Hawks, so it would have to be the Wolves and the Hawks, because when I know the person, is like I can really cheer, but if I don't know them, I'm like, it don't mean nothing to me. I'm just watching a great game.
Yeah. Now, I think Minnesota's going to be there, like you said, next year. Obviously you got to look at OKC. Houston factors into this now with KD, but boy, I tell you what, would have been nice if KD would have come to the Timberwolves, and then we would have really been talking about stuff.
Timberwolves don't need him. KD is Timberwolves don't need him. Okay. KD's on his way out chilling. He's playing pickleball now. Like, he's chilling. but it's nothing against pickleball. I play pickleball, but I'm just saying KD did what KD was supposed to do for the game. I don't think he's like, I don't think when he transferred to a team, other teams are worried. I don't think other teams are like, oh, damn, they got KD,
I don't know. With Houston, like all that talent plus Fred VanVleet, that's a good Houston team with KD now, Da Vinci.
That's true, but I just don't think other teams are pressed about KD anymore. I just don't think like it's not a fear factor, you know. It's not making them like flinch. I don't think.
Okay.
And he might
All
get
right.
injured. You know what I'm saying? He might be out when they need him.
Yeah.
But
No,
he's
I
an
mean,
impressive player. Like KD is. Don't get me wrong. Like he's like the only 7-foot player that can do. But he started the new wave of the generation that we're seeing today. Like KD is a GOAT. But I just feel like teams aren't worried about him because they're just so damn talented.
yeah. The one and only Da Vinci joining us here on the program. All right, let me switch gears again. You're really big into mental health advocacy. Can you speak to that and really talking about mental health and talking with people? And as a matter of fact, you also, I don't know if you were at least at one time talking to HBCU students and going on an HBCU tour with respect to mental health advocacy.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely big on mental health. Everything starts from the mind, and I think because mental health isn't explained properly, I feel like a lot of people think mental health is only something to talk about when you have clear issues. But it's not a matter of whether you have clear issues or not. It's like the way athletes have to always train their body to have optimal performance is the way we have to train our minds and program our minds. So when you work out and you do what you do, it makes your life easier. If you had to get up right now and go across the street and grab a cup of coffee, you can do it. If you had to go run up the stairs and do something, it's easy to do it. If you're dealing with stress and the weight of the world and you have to carry your book bag, you gotta do this, you have to have your phone this. If you're fit, if you build muscles through working out, it's easier to carry the weight of the world, of the inevitable, which is problems, right? But your mindset, if you program your mindset to be solution oriented and be more optimistic and just to think critically and just allow you to have a sense of self and rely on yourself, it makes dealing with problems and challenges way easier. And I just feel like we have a world now, especially in America, it's like most of us are being raised to be extremely incompetent. We're not effective and efficient human beings anymore because we're relying on, especially my generation, a whole bunch of AI and different things to where we're not using our own ability to think. And whatever you're doing at any given moment, you're physically modifying your brain to become better at it. With that being said, social media only reprograms your brain by undergoing neuroplasticity to have ADHD. So you're literally reprogramming your brain to have all these different disorders. And then what happens when life starts throwing the inevitable at you, which is problems, you've never really built mental, spiritual fortitude. So you want to kill yourself. You become depressed. You have anxiety. And then what happens, you go to the slaughterhouse. Well, I should say the slaughterhouse. You go to the doctors and they start giving you these man-made medicines, which have side effects. But if you learn how to program your brain properly and use the medicine that God gives us, there's no side effects to that. So I just try to train people to try to just build and program themselves to be as healthy as possible mentally and just limit exposure to social media and different things of that nature because we live in a capitalistic society. And in order for it to thrive, it thrives off of our dependence on being addicts in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like we're depending on being addicted to something that is outside of ourselves, that is outside of God. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to steer people back in the right direction because as the generations get older and older and older, you're going to see an influx of all these different type of mental psychosis and different type of mental conditions due to how we're living. We're not living in a way to have purpose and like meaning and humanity anymore. So the side effects of that is the increase of mental health. And this is why when I talked to the Surgeon General of the United States, well, the former Surgeon General, he was reading these numbers to me and the numbers are staggering and it's shocking. So I just felt like if you're not trying to help to alleviate suffering to some extent, then your life is purposeless. You don't have, what's the point of living?
Mm. No, it's very well said. And I guess even more so because I'm a Morgan State grad. So even in particular, what led you to really want to? I mean, you do it for, like you said, a myriad of groups, but HBCU students in particular.
Well, I feel like we're all suffering, we're all going through it, but HBCUs in particular, because the foundation of America was built on policies that was purposely designed to keep Black people in a cage and not let them get on top. So with that being said, You have a country that is only 249 years, and 90 and the bulk of the country and the foundation of what it was built on was our backs, and for us to never get compensated for it, and for us to always be in a constant state of turmoil. I mean, you had psychologists and neurosurgeons and doctors that used to publish articles that is leaning towards the concept that black people are inferior to white people. What happens when you believe a myth so long, it kind of becomes a fact, even though it's not fact, but you program yourself to make it become a fact. So a lot of us, we're living in this day and age thinking from those seeds that was planted a really long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So our mindset is broken. So it's not a matter of whether we have mental health issues or not. It's like, no, we all do. You just have to like get a grasp on it and reprogram your brain. You can't, black people cannot have mental health issues. You can't not have it in this day and age, because the country was built on a flawed system. You had people using the Bible saying things that calling us, when Cain was casted out of the Garden of Eden because what he did to his brother Abel, they said Cain was a black man and he was put among the beast. You have senators that are co-signing and stamping these things. You got people that are saying, I mean, it was in our constitution that we're 3/5 of a human. You know what I'm saying? So like when you really internalize that, understand that, then you have is ingrained in our psyche that white people look at us a certain way, and we also look at ourselves a certain way, and we have a lot of trauma and habits that develop from that time and terrible ways of thinking. Because the 12 years that followed after we were freed, the 12 years, the Reconstruction era, black people were outpacing white people crazy, in a crazy rate economically. But then what happens, they started burning our cities down. And one of the most famous cities that they burned down was the Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And all we were literally doing is progressing. We had companies, we had businesses, we had real estate, but they didn't want us. They were threatened by our success. And the only time now we can become successful is in ways that is destroying our culture. You know, if you listen to the music and the entertainment and all the stuff that we listen to, it's all poison. And black people, and sometimes when you're born into this world, you think it's like, oh no, this is how we are. It's like, no, our ancestors fought so hard for us not to do this. But this was the only way that we had. They was like, okay, yeah, you could do this, because it goes into the stereotype of us being criminals, us being so promiscuous, and us being, black people, all they want to do is rape our women, and their women just want to be slept with and raped. And you know, at one point in America, it was considered a black woman is unrapeable. You can't consider any, if you rape her, it's not considered rape. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have this system that was created off of just us being treated as like not human. And this was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not something that was so long ago. I mean, the first black person that got into Congress was like 40 years ago. But Congress has been around for 249 years. And the policies that's put in place. So it's like with those policies, you can't not be corrupt in here in your thinking. The country was built on a corrupt thinking system. So that's why I try to like allow people to understand, like, yo, your pain and what you're feeling is real, but you have to reprogram your mind. Otherwise, you're gonna fall victim to it, and then you're just gonna suffer.
Yeah, no, you're right. I would say since because during Reconstruction there were some black folks, but to your point, after Reconstruction ended 1929, you had a brother that was a congressman from Illinois. And to your point, not until maybe 40 years ago we had a lot of more than just one or two black folks. So I definitely get your point there. You're deep. Let me ask you about this. This is something that's always fascinated me. You're Haitian American. You talk about Haiti. Haiti is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that is truly independent, right, of colonialism or European rule. So but when you look at what has happened to Haiti over the years with the occupation, and I'm look, if I'm taking you too deep, then it's not.
Continue,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
You're
Uh,
asking a really good question.
yeah. So you talk about the United States and its occupation of Haiti from World War I for about 20 years or so. The U.S. bank that reportedly had taken money from the treasury of Haiti, all of those kinds of things. And it seems like those kinds of things that have happened are sort of still what we're seeing today, and sort of maybe some of the issues that are happening with Haiti. You could be someone maybe that you know, has something to say about that. I just like to kind of get your thoughts on on Haiti and where Haiti is right now? It seems like we always are reading something about something happening there. I just
Right.
want to get your thoughts.
No, and that's a great question, brother. And I think that what happened to Haiti, Haiti was the first enslaved country to gain their independence from the white man. They destroyed Napoleon Bonaparte's army, and he was like one of the best war generals at the time. Napoleon Bonaparte is an OG. He was just taking land and then just doing his thing, right? He was doing what white people do, playing a violent game. And the Haitians was like, no, we're done with that. We're gonna create our own language, and then we're gonna fight this war, and we're gonna win. And it's the epitome of the 300 story. It's a little country destroyed this massive country with all these allies and all this power, stuff like that. But they made an example out of Haiti. It is the same way the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma happened in 1921. In 1919, there was over 36 cities in America of Black people that were progressing. I don't know if you ever read about the 1919 and what was going on in America with Black people, but then what happens is that the white people started lynching and massacres happened. There was like, we gotta put you in a place. So it's literally no different from ID. Let's say you doing your thing, and I don't want you to succeed in agriculture and real estate. I'm gonna light you on fire, rape your woman, and kill all you guys until you understand. And I'm gonna hang you, and I'm gonna make an example out of you, and I'm gonna do that to the other cities. If I don't make an example out of you, you're gonna keep aspiring to do this. So you're not gonna do this shit. You're done. I'm gonna cut off all the allies. Since you want to do this and gain independence, now you're a piece of shit country. Now everyone's gonna see today, and they're not gonna start the chapter in the beginning of the book. So they're coming in at chapter 36, like, oh my God, they're barbaric, da 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 da. But it's like, whenever you're talking about Black, anything Black, you have to take it within its full context. Because if you think of it today, then we just look like criminals, but we were created to be criminals because that was the only way that we could succeed. And a lot of people, we turn a blind eye to it, like, oh no, it never, like, it's just like, no, it's just work hard. It's like, no, motherfucker, you can't say work hard. Because you guys were able to work hard and have opportunities, like have a house and pass your house down. At one point in America, we couldn't even own a house. So if we're working hard for nothing. We have to start from ground zero every generation. So it's just like, so I think it's very important to understand the psyche of the colonizers. And that's why the world is the way it is. That's why Haiti is the way it is. They made an example out of Haiti the same way the Tulsa, Oklahoma, the race massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that's all it is. And the craziest part, it's nothing deeper than that. If you study history, it's like, it's not deep. They're slaughtered. They slaughter people. They're just like the kings in doing it. And they do it so well that they make it look like everyone else is the killers, you know? So it's just life.
Yeah. Are you able to get to Haiti much? Or have you been able to?
They put a travel ban on it now, so there's no way. But also it's like at the state of the country it's extremely dangerous because the ignorance and the corruption have just consumed majority of the hearts of the man over there. So it's like a part of it is just it's almost like a war zone, and when evil really seeps into a man's heart, they just become suicidal, homicidal. So it's like you can't really. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, yeah,
it's very dangerous.
Yeah. Man, this is a great conversation, Da Vinci. Couple last thoughts. We'll switch gears again. What's next for you, man? Are you able to work? I mean, obviously you've been able to work on other projects because one of the projects you worked on, which I really enjoyed, was the Mary J. Blige Real Love series. There's 3 of those, I believe. So what's next? What are you kind of working on now outside of BMF? Can I ask you this? Is there going to be a season 5? Do we know that? Are you able to say whether or not there is?
I can't say that, but I mean, it could be. It could be. You know what I'm saying? It could be.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
But I'm definitely working on other projects, and then I've also started like doing comedy. I started doing some stand up and hitting the stage and doing that. So that's been fun, and writing my own projects. And I'm probably gonna go do another mental health tour as well.
Yeah. So what's your stand up what's your stand up routine? What are your topics?
I think I just talk about my life and the way I see the world, okay. And then it's just rooted in truth. But because I feel like we're so far removed from truth that when you hear truth now, it's funny. And it's really not funny. It's just the truth. But it's like everybody's just living in their own imagination. So and it just makes truth funny. So like sometimes, and in my perspective on America and this life is just, it's different. And then, you know, and I as an entertainer, you're living a unique experience. Less than 1% of the world will ever experience that. So it's just, there's so much you can talk about from that point of view that, you know, and it's just, and there's a lot of funny things that happen in my life. So I really just come from there. And then I also like put in some mental health things in an easy way to digest. So yeah.
Okay. No, very cool, man. This has been a blast. We got into a lot of stuff, little political, little sports, talking about, oh, you know what? Let me ask you this real quick. Just because it seems like, you are where you are now, but you only started, I mean, how did you get into acting? You only started maybe at least your first credit was maybe only like 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah. No, for sure. It's about a grace of God, man. I started doing music and I was like taking acting classes at the same time. And I slowly started to fall off of music because I mean, I still love music. I still love the art of it and writing, but it was just the politics around it. I was just like, ah. So I started acting, and then, you know, one of my friends, shout out to Little Mama, she was like, yo, come to LA, meet my manager. And then I met her. And then 2 weeks later, I just started booking, and I started booking consistently. But it's nothing but the grace of God. You know, it's like when God has a plan for you, it's like nothing could really stop it, you know.
Man, very well said. I feel you on that. Check him out each and every Friday on Stars on BMF. He plays the role of Terry Flenory, but he's so much more, as you could see from this conversation. He is the one and only Da Vinci. He joins us here on Radio Boss. Da Vinci, an absolute blast, man. Continued success in all you do.
No, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Great conversation, man.
Absolutely.